Lithium-ion batteries can catch on fire.
Welcome to a hopefully short explainer video about the new proposed Endicott battery recycling facility. It's really an incinerator. The project sponsor is Sungil MCC Americas, or SMCC, which is a partnership between a South Korean recycling company called Sungil High Tech and White Plains, New York-based e-waste recycler and broker Metallica Commodities Corporation. Now, there are many potential public safety and human health hazards from a facility like this, including risks from fire, from the air emissions, and from solid and liquid wastes associated with this facility. Now here we show the corporate structure of what's going on here, and this is a little complicated, but we're going to break this down a bit at a time so that you can see what's going on. So let's begin with the Korean aspect of this company. This gentleman here is named, there's a couple different transliterations I've seen of his name. One is Kang Myung Lee, and the other is Yi Kang Myung. So I'm not sure how to pronounce that correctly. If somebody in the audience speaks Korean, please leave a comment below so that the proper pronunciation of this gentleman's name. He founded the Sungil High Tech in South Korea in 2000. It's non-ferrous recycling, and according to Bloomberg, they have about 30 employees. Now let's talk about Glendon Archer. He's the president of Metallica Commodities Corporation in White Plains, New York. It was founded in 2001 by Glendon Archer with two other initial directors. There's also a wholly owned subsidiary called MCC Non-Ferrous Trading Incorporated, and that was founded in 2012. Glendon Archer is also the president of this wholly owned subsidiary. Now, these two companies, Sungil High Tech and Metallica Commodities Corporation, formed a partnership called Sungil MCC Americas, also called SMCC. And this was a match made in heaven. Well, maybe not heaven exactly, but let's say Albany. And this was the matchmaker that brought them all together. Yes, good old Governor Andrew Cuomo.
We were actually looking at building our facility in Pennsylvania initially. New York State came to us and said, listen, we're trying to build this battery recycling hub in the Binghamton, Endicott area. We have I-3 there. We have Binghamton University's Battery Recycling and Research Center. This would be a great home for you guys. You know, we're from New York, so we figured, okay, why not New York State? So Endicott was the number one choice just because of the state wanting to build this recycling footprint.
Yeah, all that plus about $2 million in free money and tax abatements.
Question if I gave it 9 and tell the truth, so you could tell them that the player did it. Hey, it's okay.
Count the money. 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 Count the money.
So thank you, Governor Andrew Cuomo and the state of New York for bringing these jobs and industrial pollution to Endicott. So Danish Mir is the president of Sungil MCC Americas, and he's also the chief operating officer of MCC Non-Ferrous Trading Incorporated. So these two, Danish Mir and Glendon Archer, have been partners in several different ventures, including they were both co-investors in a failed genetic mapping startup company. And they SMCC hired Dale Vollmer of Plumley Engineering as an environmental consultant. And he's a professional engineer, but he also helps to basically make sure that the permit applications are filled out correctly in order so that they get their permit. Now, we're going to tell you something interesting about Dale Vollmer coming up in just a minute. So this is a look at more of the government structure involved in who is behind the poisoning of Endicott. Now, as we've told you before on this show, in downtown Endicott, there is a more than 400-acre area that's been contaminated by industrial pollution. It's a Superfund site, and it's been known about since at least the 1980s. So there's a lot going on in this graph here, so we're going to try to break it down for you, again, a piece at a time to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. So when we say who is involved with the poisoning of Endicott, we of course have to start with this guy. Yes, Andrew Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo, he is the start of it. And also a whole bunch of Democrats. Yeah, I know. We're supposed to vote for Democrats because Democrats are supposed to be the party that protect the environment. But that's not the experience that I've seen here, because these Democrats, including Governor Cuomo, State Assembly person Donna Lupardo, Mayor of the Village of Endicott, John Bertoni, and the Broome County Executive, Jason Garner, are all involved in bringing this project to Endicott. So if we look at this press release from September 27th of 2018, issued by the Empire State Development Corporation, we see quotes from all these people. Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo, this new recycling facility will complement the work being done by Imperium 3, New York in Endicott, as well as ongoing research on lithium-ion batteries by Binghamton University. High-tech manufacturing was a cornerstone of the region's economy for many years, and this announcement marks another step towards its rebirth in Broome County. Here's Mayor of the Village of Endicott, John Bertoni. The Village of Endicott looks forward to another key step in the revitalization of the business climate of Endicott. I would like to thank Empire State Development and here on campus for their continued efforts to bring jobs back to our community and grow our local economy. This new facility will be a great complement to the already announced Imperium 3 New York factory that will also be located on the Huron campus. I look forward to the bright future of the Village of Endicott. Jason Garner, Broome County Executive. Any day you find out more jobs are coming to your county is a great day. This announcement is another major win for Endicott and Broome County. Thanks to the continued hard work of Empire State Development and Governor Cuomo, this community is being revitalized and our local economy is being transformed. We are attracting innovative companies who are recognizing the great benefits of doing business in the Southern Tier, and with that, bringing much-needed jobs to our community. So these are the people. We're expecting them to be the stewards of the environment, and in reality, they are courting these industrial polluters to come here, and they're handing out taxpayer money, in this case, nearly $2 million. And by the way, this was the same group that brought us stink trucks. This is what my friend Mark Bacon calls them. This was 80,000 gallons per day of extremely toxic liquid landfill leachate coming to the village. And this project was permitted in secret in 2011 by Governor Cuomo as a secret pilot program. We fought the Speedies permit, the dumping permit, into the Susquehanna River for about 4 years and ultimately failed because all of these Democrats all green-lighted the project and refused to listen to any of our concerns. So thank you, Governor Cuomo, Donna Lupardo, John Bertoni, and Jason Garner. Now let's look at the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and the commissioner there is Basil Segos. Now, the commissioner of the DEC is supposed to be the head steward of the environment for the state of New York. But in this case, and in the case of the Endicott waste disposal operation, bringing 80,000 gallons of leachate per day into the village, we found that the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation was not acting as a steward of environment, but in fact was acting as a sponsor, as a co-sponsor of the dumping operation. And then we have this administrator, Joseph Dlugolenski, who is the DEC Regional Permit Administrator. He's a paper pusher, but both he and Basil Sagos have jobs at the pleasure of Governor Cuomo. So basically they do whatever the governor wants. Now, we should have a dotted line here to Dale Vollmer, who is an environmental consultant, and he actually had a 15-year career at the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So he's really like an ideal person to be hired by this Korean company and their American partners to basically grease the skids and make sure this permit gets issued without any problems over the objections of the community. So now let's look at the Empire State Development Corporation, and the head of that is this guy called Howard Zemsky. Now, the Empire State Development Corporation it's an unusual not-for-profit corporation, and it's a quasi-public not-for-profit. It's called a public benefit corporation. There's actually two public benefit corporations involved in the Empire State Development Corporation. And what they did was they gave $750,000 in capital grants to Sungil MCC Americas, this partnership between the White Plains, New York company, recycling company, and metals broker, and the South Korean recycling company. And they also gave them $1 million in tax credit. And now, lastly, let's look at the NY BEST. It's the New York Battery and Energy Storage Technology Consortium, and it's been headed by Dr. William Acker. He's the executive director, and they were given $25 million in seed money from NYSERDA, which is another quasi-governmental not-for-profit organization that is basically works and controlled by the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo. So this is the picture of all the people that are involved in the poisoning of Endicott. So all of these people, they love battery incinerators in Endicott, and none of them actually live in Endicott or breathe the air downwind. So as we try to challenge the issuing of this permit, and as we expect that the environmental regulators are actually working in the best interests of the people who live in New York and the village of Endicott, we have to understand that they are not working on behalf of the people of New York. They are promoting this program. They are giving it the green light. All these local Democrats, Donna Lupardo, the mayor of Village of Endicott, Jason Garner, the Broome County executive, all the way up to Basil Sagos of the DEC and Governor Cuomo, they are all giving this project a green light. So as you and we, the citizens of this area who are going to be breathing the toxic effluent, breathing in the toxic air that's going to be emitted from this new incinerator that's going to be located in downtown Endicott, just keep in mind that all of our elected leaders, they are pushing this to us. They're pushing it upon us. They're bringing this toxic industry to Endicott, and they're all giving it the thumbs up. They all love toxic incinerators. And what's most ironic is that Donna Lupardo lives in Endwell, which is downwind. So maybe she lives up in the hills and will escape some of the deadly vapors, like the 12 pounds of sulfuric acid that's going to be emitted every single day, which is heavier than air and will tend to collect in the valleys. So maybe Donna Lupardo lives up in the hills and won't be bothered by the sulfuric acid in the air that's being emitted from this facility. And John Bertoni, I understand he spends most of his time in Florida these days. So that's it, friends. That's who's behind the continuous poisoning of Endicott. And I believe what they think is, in their minds, they think Endicott is already fucked up. Endicott is already contaminated. So what difference does it make? Where are we going to put this battery incinerator? We're not going to locate this in Mount Kisco, where Governor Cuomo lives. So these people are going to sleep easy at night because they're not going to be breathing in the fumes of this toxic site. So we've got two last things we want to tell you about. Number one, on Wednesday, November 6th, there's going to be an opportunity for you to attend a public information meeting. It's at the Huron Auditorium, which is at 1701 North Street. It's also off of number 1 Heritage Circle. You enter the building by the Circle Drive, and there's going to be an opportunity for you to attend a public informational session that's being held by the applicant on Wednesday, November 6th at 6:30 p.m. It's at Huron Auditorium. This is underneath the McKinley. So the way to get there is you go in through the double glass doors at the reception area just off Heritage Circle. Some GPS units have trouble finding Heritage Circle, so you can just plug in 1701 North Street and then look for Heritage Circle. And then you can just park in the parking lot behind the building. Here's the link also to review the available documents that have been provided to us. But this is not a public hearing. There will be no personnel from the DEC attending, and there will be no way for you to make public comments at this public informational session. So what we would also, is very important, what we'd like you to really do is by Friday, we want you to submit a comment to the DEC and ask them for three things. Number one, we want to extend the comment period by 90 days. Number two, we want the DEC to grant us a public hearing, which occurs at least 2 weeks prior to the end of the comment period. And we also want the DEC to get in the habit of start making electronic copies of these relevant documents, including the application, all attachments, exhibits, and correspondence, replies, photographs, and related documents, available for at least 2 weeks prior to the public hearing. So the way to do that is write a letter to this guy, Joseph Dlugolenski, and you can call him on the phone and say at 607-753-3095, or you can write him a letter at dep.r7@dec.ny.gov. That's dep.r7@dec.ny.gov, and reference the Endicott battery recycling facility. And again, we want three things. Number one, extend the comment period. Number two, grant us a public hearing. And number three, the DEC should make electronic copies of this application available on the internet. Like the internet, which has existed for about 30 years now, which can distribute electronic copies which are searchable for keywords, unlike paper copies. The DEC has not even provided paper copies to the Endicott Public Library like they normally do. Endicott Public Library doesn't have anything on this. So considering the fact that the DEC is unfortunately keeping the community in the dark like they always do, we want and we demand an extension of the comment period. We want a public hearing, and we want DEC to make electronic copies of all these documents related to this facility available on the internet where people can get access to it without doing a FOIA request. Okay, that's it, friends. Please write a letter to the DEC at dep.r7@dec.ny.gov. Attention, Joseph M. Dlugolenski, or just give him a call at 607-753-3095 and say, we want a public hearing, extend the comment period, and make electronic copies of the application available on the internet, like everybody has done for the past 30 years or so. Okay, this is Bill Huston, over and out. Thanks a lot, and hope to see you at the upcoming meeting on Wednesday, November 6th at the Huron Auditorium at 6:30 p.m. That's at One Heritage Circle in Endicott under the McKinley. And that's at the corner of North Street and McKinley. But the way to get there is off of One Heritage Circle. That's the entrance to the building is One Heritage Circle, and then go downstairs. Okay? Oh, this is Bill Huston, over and out.